Our news correspondent Ishan Garg spoke to us about the reasons behind the decline of the numbers of the attendees.
Due to the rapid spread of the Omicron variant, only 5,000 to 8,000 people may be allowed to attend the celebrations in New Delhi. This is a dramatic shift from the pre-pandemic times when nearly 125,000 people were in attendance. For a second consecutive year, there will be no guest of honor at the Republic Day celebrations. Authorities had hoped to invite the heads of 5 Central Asian nations: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. But the plans were dropped as the capital New Delhi quickly emerged as a COVID-19 hotspot. For the same reason, the size of the military parade, which showcases the nation's latest weaponry, has also been reduced. Each marching contingent will only have 96 members this year, as opposed to 144 members from 2 years ago. But some decades-old traditions remain untouched. 25 tableaus will be a part of the celebrations, each displaying a unique facet of the country's diverse culture from various provinces. But the centerpiece of the celebration is likely to be a flypast by the fighter jets of the Indian Armed Forces. To commemorate 75 years of India's independence from colonial rule, 75 aircrafts will fly over the parade route. The Indian Air Force says it will be the grandest and largest event in India's history. In another first, this year's celebrations will take place on the newly constructed parade route, which is part of a multi-billion-dollar redevelopment project. Officials say that this will be symbolic of the strides that India has made in the 7 decades since its independence. Ishan Garg, SABC News, New Delhi.
Well, that was Elia. Let's just cross back again to Ishan Garg for the latest developments. A very good morning to you, Ishan. No guest of honor coming to celebrations this year. How are Indian people taking this new form of celebration?
Well, a very good morning to you as well. The celebrations across India have been scaled down dramatically, not only at the main parade event, but also across the country. In pre-pandemic times, one would see great festive feeling and joy as schools, colleges, government offices would all celebrate Republic Day in their own manner. They would hold, small celebrations, unfurl the flag, distribute sweets among each other. But none of that is happening this year, of course, because of COVID-19. The governments across the states have put in restrictions on movement, and there's also restrictions on public gatherings as well. So in a large number of cities, you're not seeing almost any Republic Day celebrations. And all of this definitely comes, is dampening the morale of Indian people because of COVID-19 pandemic. It's been almost 2 years, and a lot of people would like to put, the pandemic behind them and move forward.
Now, the country is grappling with an ongoing COVID-19 wave. What measures are in place to ensure the safety of those attending this year's festivities?
Well, a number of measures were taken. For example, every adult who was in attendance at the parade today had to be double vaccinated, and they had to carry their vaccination certificates with them. For people who were between the ages of 15 to 18, they had to be at least vaccinated with a single dose of COVID-19 vaccine. And on top of that, there was ample social distancing in place. Masks had to be put on at all times, all the way from general attendees, all the way up to the Prime Minister himself. So there were a number of measures put in place, and on top of that, the crowd size had been reduced dramatically to ensure that COVID-19 is not spreading among the people who had been attending. Reports say that less than 8,000 people have attended the parade this time around, which in comparison really pales to how many people attended in pre-pandemic times, which was at 125,000. So social distancing, crowd management and mandatory vaccines, that was what the COVID management looked like today at the parades.
Yeah. Now, authorities had hoped to invite the heads of various Central Asian nations. How have planned celebrations changed due to having to cut down audiences and guests?
Well, a large part of the celebrations do remain the same. For example, the military parade, that remains the same. The tableau and the exhibitions of different facets of cultures across the country, they put up exhibitions and that goes through the parade. That remains the same. But the key event, which is the welcoming of the chief guest, that has changed. And for a second year in a row, India has had to celebrate its Republic Day without a chief guest. Last year, it was UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson who was invited to attend, but he had to turn down the invitation because of COVID-19. And once again, the Indian government decided not to invite the 5 heads of state from Central Asian countries for that. But authorities say that with the way vaccination numbers are going and with the way COVID-19 cases in large cities at least are dipping, they are hoping that this will not be the case next year around.
So, Ishan, this year's celebrations will be held on the newly constructed parade route, which is part of a multi-billion-dollar redevelopment project. Take us through what this particular development project is all about.
Well, this new redevelopment project is being called the Central Vista Project. It amounts to nearly $300 billion being spent on essentially redeveloping the entire infrastructure around the Parliament building in central Delhi. So that includes making a new parliament, that includes making new parade routes, that also includes modernizing a lot of government buildings and offices, which were really functioning on the infrastructure that was developed by the British during the colonial rule in the country. And the parade route through which the parade went to today is also a part of that. Now, the government is saying that this is, a symbol really of the strides that India has made, of how much India has progressed. The president in his address has said that India has really come a long way from its independence in 1947, when a majority of the country was under poverty, and the country has been able to move forward from that. And by redeveloping the main parliamentary complex and the area around it, India wishes to put forth the message the times have really changed for this country.
So what's the significance of this event to the people of India?
Well, the biggest significance of this event is really celebrating the fact that India has a constitution that puts in place very strong institutions, which are really the foundation of the democracy in the country. Apart from Republic Day, the government has also been celebrating the martyrdom of a lot of freedom fighters who helped India gain independence from the colonial rule. So not only the Republic Day, but also 4 and 5 days around it, there has been huge celebrations happening across the country, celebrating all facets of creation of a constitution, the democratic underpinnings of it, creation of a system of law and order that determines how the country behaves, and also celebrating the fact that so many people gave up their lives, and also celebrating the fact that that resulted in India gaining independence from colonial rule. That's really the significance of Republic Day for all Indians.
Ishan, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on the story. BRICS member India celebrating 73 years of its constitution.